You know, I'm a very broken person. I'm really damaged goods. I've been through the mill. I've been through hell and back. And believe me, what I'm talking about is hardcore shit. And it's hectic. It's really hectic. And it's really hardcore. Being in my shoes, I honestly could not wish upon my own worst enemy. And that's the truth. I couldn't wish it upon anyone to be in my shoes. I just wouldn't wish it upon anyone. What I've had to go through my life and what I've had to see and what I've had to deal with is a lot deeper than what anybody in the world can take on board. I've seen things no one else has seen. I know things nobody else knows. I understand things people do not understand. I'm not saying that for any other reason than it's the truth, the real truth, that most people in the world cannot deal with at all. Yeah, you have to be in my shoes, right, with people like myself, okay, to really know the truth. I can tell you now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm shit scared of the future. I'm shit scared. It terrifies me. Nothing terrifies me more than knowing what's about to happen worldwide. And I know people can't deal with it. They just cannot fathom the truth at all. Let me explain something to you, right? Just want to tell you something for a moment. I just put a video on my timeline with Dr. Bryan, Ardis. That video is linked to this post, the first video. It's not very long. It's only a few minutes. There are 4 documents released worldwide from governments about long COVID. You need to listen to me carefully. A lot of people got COVID and never showed positive, right? A mild dose, okay? It starts with SARS-1. SARS-1 has the same process with, okay, when you talk about the spike proteins. The spike proteins in COVID-19, has the same spike proteins as SARS-1. We can go back with the same process in a lot of medication, drug delivery systems, and even food preservatives. When we talk about graphene oxide, comes from iodine crystal and is patented and recorded as an electronic magnetic device. Harari from the 4th Industrial Revolution says, loud and clear worldwide, we're going to remember COVID-19 as the time we went under the skin with surveillance. It's patented as an electronic magnetic device. It's patented as an electronic magnetic device. That same device has been recorded by the Rockefellers, right, to go into the secret covenant and all our food preservatives and all the things we consume with medication under the secret covenant. We exposed that in 1997. We hacked the hub. That's why Julian Assange got locked up in England. Edward Snowden exposed a lot of things about NSA with the hub in Australia and went in hiding. And we were the anonymous in the underground world that hacked the hub and exposed more than 30,000 documents. Now, I became the most wanted criminal in the underground world in the Star Chamber Corridor because we hacked the hub. When we hacked the hub in 1997, we exposed all the documents. Let me explain something to you about post-human state and mentality. If you look at the IPP science reports in 1999, on the 27th September, you declared that your parents are crazy. And we're going into 6 mass extinctions, tripping the 6th sense for the 6th time. And the last human being born on Earth that can use its genetic memories, genetic process with 130 nucleoside molecules genetic repair kit, where his auras clockwise in his aura and his body cells without mental disorders and defects, and he can use all his abilities with 32 senses and master his mind, use 100% of his brain, okay? Today, people can only use up to 15% with the highest IQ in the world, okay? So people used to use their mind 100%. like a child from 0 to 7 that's perfect, who can mastermind a computer game between 3 and 7, and his aura's clockwise, and he has a genetic memory and a genetic process. Then he goes to school to be mentally institutionalized and loses it. And what happens? He creates a second secretion to conduct with his body cells, with the second secretion, with the Neuralink, which is a Jacob's ladder. The Neuralink's a tree of life, with your gut feeling survival mode, that activates all the molecules, with a natural process, with 2 models of mentality, and a genetic memory, and a genetic process with the ancestral tools coded in your own DNA. And a child's a genius and can master his mind, use 100% of his brain, and mastermind a computer game between 3 and 7. Then he goes to school to be mentally institutionalized with voice of mind that's now declared to be ultimately designed for extinction on reverse psychological engineering. Okay, that was declared in 99. And all the documents that was there were 15,500 documents that exposes exactly what the UN and the Rockefellers were doing worldwide. And you were given those documents in 1999 worldwide. But you got to listen to me carefully, okay? Look, let me tell you something about my life, okay? Just going to run something by you, okay? In 2012, they set me up. They were trying to set me up for murder, and they tried to kill me. I died for 23 minutes. I went for a massive transformation. And I do mean a massive transformation. I died for 23 minutes. I was powerless, went down, told I'd never walk in, got up and walked out of hospital and went for a massive transformation. And when I went through that transformation, I started to get Deja-vu visions and dreams, and I started to learn things that I never learned before in my life. Okay, in 2016, on the 26th of February, I'm called into a secret meeting with 2 top people from the biggest think tank in the world, 2 top biologists and 2 top scientists for a 6-hour meeting. I sat down and I'm told things about my own life for the last 34 years and DNA studies done. And I'm told I'm one of a kind by the biggest think tank in the world in 7 reports that I can do things no one else can do. On a mastermind report, 7 mastermind reports, a mastermind mind with God-like power on their documents. You know, they had direction microphones on me and I could feel the truth with remote viewing and deja-vu. So when they put pen to paper in the courtroom to come and raid me, I could feel the truth immediately, and they had direction microphones on me and surveillance 24 hours a day because I was most wanted. But I could outsmart them 7 to 1 in every single study done. And they didn't know how. And the fact is, I've mental telepathy, ESP, remote viewing, telekinesis, levitation, spoon bending, clock winding, folding space and time with deja vu to predict the future and prevent what's going to happen. My book's become solid evidence. And no one reads this book. I'm the most powerful prophet in the whole world. I promise you. And you need to listen to me carefully. This book's linked to this post, and the most powerful videos on earth with information that no one's giving you is linked right here to this post. And I suggest you sit down, pull your head in, if you want to deal with the truth and wake up from amnesia and the reincarnation trap, because I did the hard way. And I had no idea. Never read the Bible, never went to church. Put for a certain path for a reason. I had to revise my perception about everything I come to learn. I had to go back to my childhood. In my childhood, at 5 years old, I said to my mum, "Mum, where were we? What happened?" She said, "What are you talking about?" "Mum, I keep getting this nightmare. This vision keeps coming to me, Mum, and it scares. Let me sit down. I want to know where we were and what happened." She said, "What do you mean, son?" I said, "Mum, we're sitting in a cell and there's bombs outside. I'm sitting in your arms and we're shit scared, Mum, and there's all these bombs. Where were we? What happened? I'm getting these nightmares, Mum." My mum freaked out. She didn't tell me for years. She said I was dreaming, but she couldn't deal with it because it was her and her mum in 1945 in World War II sitting in a cellar when there was bombs outside, and I explained it perfectly and exactly what she saw and how she felt in that moment because she was terrified. And I explained it the way that she explained it as if it was me, but it was her. I was told, I was dreaming, right? And I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot of things when I was a child. I had to go through certain events in my life, okay? I had to see things from a perspective that no one's seeing. I was rejected by my parents. I went to school, got picked on every day for having red hair and freckles because I was different, and people thought I was some kind of freak of nature, which I was compared to anybody else. I was a freak of nature compared to anyone else. But I didn't know that. I just thought I was being picked on. I was very confused. I was just a child. I leave school at 12 years old. I take drugs to numb myself because I can't cope. I end up in the streets with other people being rejected by their parents or rejected by the school. I go into the streets because I'm rejected and picked on all the time. Always rejected, always picked on. I take drugs to numb myself because I can't cope. And drugs are known as truth serums, where we see things where we can cope. That's why people take drugs, so they can cope. Mental disorders are going through the roof, and people on drugs all over the world. Illicit drugs, right, or medication, worldwide. More people than ever in global history are on drugs because they can't cope. Mental disorders and DDPs are going through the roof. 77% of all American children today are born with chronic diseases, hereditary diseases, because of mental disorders and because of gene defects, going through the roof. Going through the roof worldwide. I'm telling you something nobody else is telling you that I know. The depopulation plan of 230 depopulation plan is real. 220 to 230. That's why it's a 7-year delay from 220 to 227, the new climate clock. You see it in a 2-minute video. Put up by Jeremy Gibbs and the top elders in the whole world. Because it's real. It's not a joke. Kim Clement saw the vision of 227 and he made a video in 230 and you can see it on YouTube. And when I saw that video of Kim Clement in 213, I wrote my book in 2004 that was stopped by the authorities with 66 court orders. Because I saw the visions that Kim Clement saw in 213 of 227 when he walked up the stage and had to recompose himself because he couldn't compose himself. It's shocking. It's terrifying to deal with that deja vu that happens right in front of your face on the stage. On the stage. Not in a vision, a dream at night time, but right in front of your face on the stage where he gets a shock and has to recompose himself and walks up the stage with prediction of 227. You see it in a video from 213, Kim Clement. Go look for yourself. Have you heard Tom Thorne? See Guys 225, have you heard him on Seth Roth or any of his videos? When he told the vision that he saw, like the movie from 212, right? He saw the whole world cracking up, right? Apophis, the whole lot. When I heard his video and his testimony, I got shit scared, man, because I saw the same vision. Exactly the same thing. And I know exactly how they felt in that moment, and same with Kim Clement. I know exactly how they felt because I had exactly the same visions. And then you listen to Jonathan Cahn, who wrote The Return of the Gods, right? Okay, the prophecy of the dragon. Okay? You need to listen to me carefully. His visions, when I heard his videos when he was chosen, and he saw the vision of deja vu in a real moment, where he had a massive death experience himself, like I did. And when I heard his visions and his deja vu vision, what he saw in real life at that time, man, it scared me. I was fucking terrified. I started to realize all my visions are real. From 5 years old. And I was put through that path. So God said, Kim, you were chosen from the day you were born with the most powerful confirmation on earth. And I developed you this way. Revise your perception about everything you come to learn. Everybody said you're wrong, Kim, and you're mental, and always been standing against you. But Kim, you're the only one that's right. You're the most powerful mastermind in the world, Kim. On every document with DNA done. You are the most powerful one on earth, Kim, with the most powerful confirmation on earth that no one can lie about. And I designed all the biblical prophecies to land on your date of birth with the most powerful confirmation on earth, gun. No one can lie about you. Nobody can, son. Man, that scared me. You have no idea how much that terrified me, because I remember I was down in the bathtub. My mum told me, and I knew nothing about these moments that began until my mum told me the truth. 2017. I died in 2012. Clinically dead. I went through a transformation for 3.5 years. Went through massive events. So powerful you have no idea. And told things that are so hard to fathom that you don't even believe it yourself. You cannot. You cannot believe what you're told. That you're the only one of a kind with the most powerful confirmation on earth. With divine power to command nature. With divine power to command nature. With divine power to command nature. With the most powerful documents on earth. Most powerful miracles in hospital. All with you. Every one of them. And bringing someone back to life. And you didn't even know. Bringing someone back to life. And you didn't even know. Man, that scares me. My brother died in the Kempsey bus accident and he was sent back because of me. And I didn't know for 27 years. We lost our relationship for 27 years. And I made a lot of videos about this. When he flatlined after a 3.5-year coma, he flatlined after being on the Kempsey bus accident that stopped Australia and killed 36 people. The biggest road accident in Australian history that stopped the country. 20 people died on this bus. When he woke up from the coma, he said goodbye to 19 people, and Dr. Wright and Queensland Mental Health put a big article in the paper, one of the biggest miracles on earth. He didn't know anyone in the bus, only his wife that died, Kathy. She was the last one that came to say goodbye to him, and it's in the paper. My brother didn't know anyone in the bus and couldn't remember the accident either. They confirmed that every first name he said goodbye to was every first name that died on that bus, except for the driver that went in the abyss. That's what Kathy said. He went in the abyss and she was the only one that made it. And the others were lost, getting one more final chance. That was the 27th of January, 1990. Exactly 27 years later to the day, on the 27th of January, 2017, I was unlawfully deported, right, in 2016 when I got told I'm the biggest mastermind in the world with the most powerful document on earth, most authentic DNA. I went for a massive divine intervention. I wrote 3 official documents when I got unlawfully deported and told them, right, Immigration Department, Border Security and the government, I said, you send me out of Australia, God will send me back in a glitch through the toughest security system in the world, and he does. It's recorded in 3 letters. I get unlawfully deported and I come back in and nothing in the world could stop me. I'm not on one camera in 6 international events. Every other passenger is. I'm on CCTV outside, it's confirmed. And they can't work it out. It's not a glitch in the system, but that's what it says in the documents. I will come back in a glitch and they can't stop me. Confirmed by Border Security, the most powerful document on earth that proves that God does exist with evidence, because I wrote on the documents, right? I predicted the future and prevented what they were trying to do. Stop me. Stop me. After they tried to set me up for 3 separate murders, after they tried to kill me in 2012, after they tried to stop me when they stopped my book in 2004, when I had the guns that disarm Australia on the front page of the paper in the in 2001, Brisbane Courier Mail. I have the guns that disarm Australia from the Martin Bryan buyback plan that you paid for in the tax department. I have the guns in the front page paper in the biggest drug trafficking case in Australian history. We brought down the highest disarm American kill and violence and misviolence in 30 years. From 1994, 1996 to 2000, when it's at the highest statistics, to the lowest. That caused the Royal Commission paying over for 23 years. The stolen bacterial pathology, the biggest mail-out research ever conducted in global history, and the most powerful documents in the world were DNA, the Book of Life. My DNA leads the research to cure the human condition going to save humanity, held by 16,000 scholars of the world, the Holy Grail of Life. The book Freedom by Jeremy Givers. My DNA. With When I Breathe the program, the Holy Breath of Life, most powerful declaration on earth. And those guys are the ones that told you in posthumous stage, with all the documents in 1999 that we exposed. On the 27th of September, on my birthday. I'm born the 27th of September 1960, Middle Rat, King of all kings, Scales for Justice, and Holy Spirit, Divine Light, 27. My son and my grandson's born the 27th. I write the documents on my grandson's birthday on the 27th of February 2016, that I'm coming back in when you deport me. Then I come back on my son's birthday, 27th of January 2017, exactly 27 years from the day that Kathy told my brother The others were lost. 90% were lost. She was the only one that made it. The driver went in the abyss. 90% were lost. Getting one more final chance. You're stuck in a reincarnation trap. And you keep coming back with amnesia, and you do not know what you do. And God created that image for a reason. You have amnesia, and you can't use your genetic memory. You've been in post-human stage, modern revelation, declared in 1999 since 1960. And you live in denial, declared 2003 in denial. And I know you're in denial. I know you're all in denial. And it scares me. And God knows I'm the only one. I'm right, and the rest of the world's wrong. They can't deal with it. They can't deal with it. They can't deal with what's going on. You look now here with Dr. Bryan Ardis. Look at the 4 countries and government documents coming out with warnings of COVID, long COVID, and what's accelerating 7 times faster worldwide. I warned you. I fucking told you this was going to happen. I've been telling you for years. And it's right in front of your face now. They tell you everything going to be documented, man. Every single thing they're doing, the Rockefellers told you all the way along with the education system on reverse psychology, so your body cells can corrupt collusion, right? And they do treasoning on you. The whole system's under treasoning. And you put your kids in school so their body cells can't corrupt collusion, and they'll die prematurely from stress-related diseases with amnesia and keep coming back in a reincarnation trap. And it's not a fucking joke. Do you know what you're fucking doing? No, you don't. You haven't got a fucking clue. But you think you do, you don't. You can only use 10% of your brain. The highest IQ, 15%. I use 100%. There's a big difference between you and I. Massive. So big you got no idea. I have an outside influence. Divine power, command, nature. You do not have. You will not know who I am. God told you that in the Bible for a reason. You will not know who I am. Because you don't, nor do I. Never did. I had amnesia. Had no fucking idea. I know the future, man. I've seen it. Marin's seen it too. Yes. Marin's seen it as well. She went on a mountain. She got lost with a friend when she was young. 18, 19?
Yeah.
18, 19. She was in Norway, got lost in the mountain. And I'll tell you now, if you ever heard the real truth from Winoff went walkabout through disaster. His wife committed suicide. He was lost. It was his love of his life. Right? He had the same loss that I endured with my wife. The love of his life. But she didn't come back. Mine did. His didn't. And he grieved and suffered. And I understand why he suffered. What I felt at the time was enough. In 92 with my wife, when she died 4 times. I was blessed to have her come back. He wasn't. And he put him on a path on the mountains. And not too many people knows what he saw on the mountains, but he saw the same visions too. He knew. He knows. That's why he knows. Winoff knows, man. And I've heard that video. I've heard his testimony of what he saw. And he saw the same thing you did. Dead bodies everywhere, and he was alone. He was completely alone on the mountain, just like you and your friend.
Yes.
And you saw it in Deja-Vu in broad daylight.
Yes.
It wasn't a dream.
No.
And you felt alone.
Yeah.
So alone it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And there's no one left.
No.
I saw over 7 billion people gone. All my family gone. I seen everyone gone, man. I've seen the future, man, in Deja-Vu. I've seen it all around the whole fucking world. I've seen every vision the others have seen. I know every vision. And when I hear their testimonies, it fucking breaks me, man, because I know all my truth. Because God put me through that path. And when he sent me back for the airports, it wasn't just to make the most powerful document on earth, but it's to send me back to see my mum and my brother, because they didn't tell me. They lied to me for years. And my brother didn't talk to me for 27 years. And then he told me on that day, on my grandson's birthday, 27 years later, it's the first time he told me he was sent back from heaven to earth because of me. And he blamed me. For 27 years he blamed me because he was sent back the same way the others were, one more opportunity. And he was filthy about it because he saw Kathy, the love of his life, and he didn't want to come back. You know, it's so beautiful, just like people say, it's so magnificent you don't want to come back. And I've been there, I know. And I didn't want to come here. I knew that as a child. And when my mum told me that day, 27 years later, on that same fucking day, was the first time she told me that vision from 1945 was her in her mother's arms. And she said I was drowned in the bathtub for the first time at 2 years old. And that's the first time I found out. And then all of a sudden it hit me, boom, like a ton of bricks, right? And I got all the visions back. From when I was a child at 2 years old, when I died at 2 years old, I went back into that dimension and I saw my mum. And it's a real moment. That's what my mum told me. It's a moment in 1945. And it was her in her mum's arms, not me. And when she told me I died and drowned in the bathtub and I was clinically dead, that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. That when I died, that's when I saw it. I went back in time when I was dead. And then I realized every other vision I saw from the future was real. And that's what God put me through. He said, son, I have to send you home to your mum for the international airports and your brother to know that to find out. And that's when I found out my brother was sent back from heaven to earth because of me. And why was I chosen for that? To tell people in 1990, 95% of people lost. And every person that's going to be lost right now, stripped from the sixth sense for the sixth time, will go into the sixth mass extinction. And if you don't get back in your primordial state, back in your innocence, back in your celestial primordial state and control your vessel from the outside in, your sixth sense is your spirituality. And that's every God-given gift that God gives you. And look at the people in the world today, man. They're so confused and frustrated and live in their own narratives worldwide, and no one can deal with the truth at all. Now we know with these documents, with 4 documents of studies done, even from China, and America's put out a pamphlet, long COVID. Listen to this video and listen to what's under the long COVID. Side effects from long COVID. When you go into the poisons that are involved in this, it's all come out. It's all come out. There's over 29 different types of poisons and toxic poisons, right? And I know they're venoms, shellfish venoms. They go right back into history from Nimrod. Hitler's plan was to do a coal, right? That's what Ardis tells you. We're doing Hitler's plan. We're going to create our own gods. We have the divine power, creation, destruction. We're going to replace the natural cellular life with intelligent design. Alien intelligence. And they're telling you right in front of your face, and he's a prophet born in Israel, warned about in the Bible. Obama calls him a great prophet, born in Israel. The 10 kings of the 10 pharaohs with Garvey at the top, where Satan dwells at Geneva, where they opened up the sewing machine with a portal to the personality, the matrix that controls the whole world. And they've had these machines going with mind control since 1920. We told you that and exposed all the documents in 1997 and worldwide in the IP Scientific reports in 1999. Every one of those documents has been right in front of your face. Did you ever read them? No, you haven't read shit. You don't know nothing. You're a species in denial worldwide. But DNA doesn't lie. Being stripped from the sixth sense for the sixth time in the sixth mass extinction. Fauna collapsing worldwide nutritional value, 38 to 98%. Animals going around circles over the earth. Birds falling out the sky worldwide. Animals, fish going around circles in the ocean. Hawaiian syndromes with peer reports in hospitals all over the world. Blood clots, myocarditis, cancer, turbocharged rates. Mental disorders going through the roof. Suicide rates. Drug pandemics, big drug pandemic in human history. Drugs going out of control worldwide. Right? People are in denial worldwide. Can't cope. Can't keep relationships together anymore. No in tune to codependent power. No soulmates. All gone. 27 biofields collapsed. Living in a 5 sense mentality. Can only use 7 to 15% of the brain. Okay, their 24th chromosome in dormancy with all their godlike power, supernatural power that I have that you do not have. Only a handful of us does. Only a handful of us does. And the whole world said we were mental and wrong and freaks of nature when we're right. We're the ones that are right. We're the righteous ones, the elect. The book Freedom by Jeremy gives held by 16,000 top scholars of the world in the biggest merge in human history. Right? The natural selection, the natural order in life. And we're so naturally selected. We are naturally selected with an outside influence on our reality. We come from the cave of prison with the tooth of massive with fire come out of mouth like a thief in the night, in raggedy clothes with a shining armour. And they found my DNA in 2008 in prison. I can tell you now. I come out of prison after 10 years in jail, in a time where time still overserves. Self-preservation by life in your DNA. In a time where time still overserves. I come out of jail in 2010 and I fucking shit myself. The atmosphere was collapsed worldwide and people weren't the same anymore. They were not the same at all. And I've been going through this my whole life. People polarised and hypnotised state. I've watched that in the Fitzgerald inquiry in 1978, 79, 80. Sorry, 1988, 89, 90. When I was the biggest mastermind on every document on the front page of the paper in 1992 and 17 current affairs shows, I was the biggest mastermind in the underground world on the front page of the paper and on 17 current affairs shows. I fucking damn well knew what was going on. I could unravel the system. I was a mastermind. I live by the laws of manipulation. And I unearthed the manipulation right for your schooling systems. And we created the most powerful enlightenment drug in the world, right? Bred manna that Christ and Moses used on every testing center across Australia that brought down the highest death toll in economic and minds and mismanagement in 30 years. My officer, my resident officer commends me. So did many others. And retires the police force. Of course, the Royal Commission paying out for 23 years. I go to jail for corruption. My arresting officer says that in the second mention. It's corruption. He identifies that and retires the police force. I go to jail for 10 years. 2004, I read my book. Wrote my book, sent out to book publishing companies and film companies. And they wanted to write the story straight away because I'm on the front page of paper with guns that disarm Australia. And I've got the most powerful document in the world, how they're taking over the whole world. And the most powerful documents we have to have. We've got all the most powerful documents on earth. Have you ever read any of them? No, you haven't. Not fucking one of you who are dead. And that scares me. That we know everything that's going on in the world and the whole world's in a polarised state and don't believe nothing but themselves. With the boys mind that controls them, that's been ultimately designed being seen declared worldwide. They only believe in themselves and the boys of the mind that they're designed into, but they can't use their brain. You see that in the movie Limitless, how to use 100% of your brain with the drug that we developed. The movie Limitless, the drug that we developed back in 1994 that brought people back in the polarised state. They tell you right in front of your face. The real Matrix documentary, I'm the most powerful mastermind in the world with all those powers that can respond 7 times faster than anyone can think. I'm the real deal, not the fake one, not the actor, not the BS, not the wannabe, not the lies and deceptions to confusion with propaganda. You live with more propaganda and confusion and frustration you've ever in history, and you all think you know everything, what with your IQ and artificial intelligence and leverage mutation by atheism. How does that work for you? Because you've been post-human since 1960 and cannot use your genetic memory or your ancestral tools in dormancy, in amnesia, trapped in the reincarnation trap. You do not know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing in here. You think you do, but you don't. And you cannot handle the truth, you can't do it because you can't see it with the sixth sense. The picture that tells you that was going to lie to you with deja-vu, with remote viewing. You cannot see it. So you live in an illusion of imagination in your mind. Consciousness, a mental event, a mental process set up by the Rockefellers into the consciousness created by WF. And everyone lives in their mind, not in their brain. They can't use their brain. They're brainwashed. They don't even believe in it. They're brainwashed to the shit house. The highest IQ people in the world can only use 15%. I'm the biggest mastermind in the world in their own documents. I'm the most powerful mastermind in the world that can mastermind use 100% of my brain and develop the drug that brought people back in the primal state with the most powerful confirmation with DNA study done that caused the Royal Commission, stolen declaration, mental health research, and the most powerful document on earth, the book Freedom by Jeremy Givers, held by 16,000 top scholars in the world, with the most powerful merge in human history, with natural selection and natural order. And if you're not natural, you're screwed. End of story. Not negotiable. Never was and never will be. Only those that live in their sixth sense and their spirituality will be saved. And that's nearly nobody. Believe it or not, they live in a personality with mentality. And everything they depend on reverse psychology engineering with grammar, or he said, she said, of the documents, or the Bible. Religious, political behavior, and New Age are all failing worldwide. And they were never naturally selected because there's nothing organic about them. So they haven't been given any divine power to command nature or any of the God's abilities at all because God doesn't trust them. So they're not selected naturally. Only masterminds are. Only Shilo masterminds, monks and Buddhists, and the most powerful masterminds in the world are. We're not breathing. Book freedom by Jimmy Givers. And the top elect people in the world that thinks outside the mind, not with the mind. Those that think instinctively, not mentally, not critical thinking, not consciousness neither. Those that think instinctively, they're telling the Amnesia documentary. As Winop says, at Oxford University with the top scholars in the world. You can see the video on YouTube, the interview. To think instinctively with the sixth sense and upwards. 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 32 senses and you can't use them. Only 5 sense mentality. Trapped inside your mind with a high IQ that you think makes you good at what you do. But that's all it does. It only makes you good at what you do, but in fact, not intelligent. Because you can't think outside the mind. As Aggo Collier says, the consciousness is unaware of the outside influence in reality. You're only a human experience. You're only a human vessel. You only live in mentality and a personality that you developed. You have an outside influence, a celestial primordial state. You see that in the movie with Keanu Reeves, right? He controls his vessel from the outside in, and he can respond 7 times faster than anyone else can, and he beats resurrection. I beat the resurrection 3 times. I teach the resurrection with a 40-day fast and the book Freedom by Jimmy Gibbs, and When I Breathe the Broken, the Holy Grail of Life and the Holy Breath of Life. And nobody else cares. I am the one that teaches the resurrection because I know it the best. End of story. Not negotiable. Nobody cares. No pastor, priest, or Christian cares neither. They're trapped in themselves that bad, beyond the point of truth. They all die prematurely from stress-related diseases, declared worldwide. 98.7% of the population. That's everyone on the screen mostly, and every Westerner. They think they're special. They're all psychological and mental. They live in illusion and imagination because consciousness is a mental event, a mental process, an illusion and imagination. And that's their visions and dreams. They're illusions and imaginations, believe it or not. Those that have deja vu, where the porthole comes down to you, the light bulb in here, the picture that tells you downwards, goes through the porthole with dimensional thinking into the future in broad daylight. They don't live in visions and dreams in here. They don't live in their skull. As warned in Revelation, as declared by Jimmy Gibbs, as Plato describes in 15 books, the greatest philosopher of all time. And they studied Plato and the human beings for 45 years when they found our DNA. We're the last human beings born on earth that can do every single thing that Christ can and more. Did you hear what it said? We're the last human beings on earth that can do every single thing that Christ can and more with genetic memory and ancestral genetic tools in DNA, in the aura, clockwise, with all our natural abilities and our natural certain life, and given that God-given power, divine power to command nature, so that no weapon from against it can prosper. And that's our sixth sense. That's our spirituality. And you're not living in it. You're living in mentality, trapped inside the mind, and can only use up to 15% of your brain, because you're not living in your primordial state, where God's given you the God-given gift, right, to command nature, right, to do what Christ can and more. And we teach it the best, and everyone avoids it the most. Well, then they won't go into this new dimension. They won't go in the crossover. The 7-year crossover from 220 to 227. And the end date is the 27th September, 227, the new climate clock. Go look for yourself in a 2-minute video. Exactly 2,000 years when Christ was baptized by John to the day. 27th September 27. Both my birthday again. Think about that. I'm born the 27th September. Holy Spirit, divine light, and justice. It's not a joke. And it's not negotiable. It's exactly 2,000 years to a fixing point, and that's why NATO put out a 3-day warning worldwide to get food and everything ready. The Bible warns you about that 3 days, and they're telling you in front of your face worldwide, with NATO worldwide, get enough food and get prepared for 3 days. And a lot of people are going underground nuclear bunkers, like the elite, like Trump built one at the White House, Biden built one at home, military all going underground with military bunkers. Nuclear bunkers worldwide by 227, they saw it in the Looking Glass. Vatican tells you about 227, and so does every prophet. that was chosen for this. 227. They know, they saw it in the looking glass. You know, they know what's going on. It's a depopulation plan. It's Genesis. It's Genesis. And if you listen to what's happening now worldwide and coming out in documents with governments worldwide, you'll see what's going through turbocharged rate. And I'm telling you, we know how to cure people. And the only way to cure anybody is to cross them over back in the primal state. So this is one thing I'm telling you now. Even Dr. Bryan, Ardis, a great doctor who exposes all this, and the pamphlets that are coming out now, right, with what's accelerating, it's exactly what we're warning about, depopulation, right? Most people are going to go into 6 mass extinction stripped from the 6th sense for the 6th time. Now, Harari or Klaus Schwab says 2 billion people will die. Top scholars in the world, in the IP science reports, where their DNA studies done with 400 nations and the whole lot, and they're the most powerful on earth, right? The Nobel Prize printers, the most biggest ones on earth. They say over 7 billion people die. In fact, some of them believe 7.8. I know the future. It's all in the documents. The depopulation plan, the 6th mass extinction strip in the 6th sense, Revelation, book Revelation, it's all on the money. It's right smack bang on the money. And I know with the visions, I know the future, and I know no one can deal with the truth at all. There's that delusional, they only live in a comfort zone, they cannot handle it. No one on a screen can, I can guarantee that. Nobody on social media platform, and that sits on a screen all day, or try to make a name for themselves, they're the most inverted into their 5 senses and trapped beyond the point of return, trapped in their mind, trapped in a 5 sense world, because everything they do is a 5 sense world. And they live in their mind in a 5 sense world 99% of the time, not in their spirituality, not in their 6th sense. They cannot think instinctively. Their body cells can only appear 3 hours at night. Their body cells can corrupt illusion during the daytime. So they're controlled by stress, fear, and anxiety, confusion, frustration, illusion, and paranoia, and live in a comfort zone because DNA doesn't lie. You can see it right in your aura and your body cells. It's anti-clockwise in 98.7% with massive global defected genes, 600 to 6,000 defected genes in every Western civilization person in the world, and they all live in denial and do nothing about it. Yet only one thing can save them, and that's crossing back over the 24th chromosome, back in their primal state, the crossover, the rebirth, the resurrection, back in your 6th sense. Only your 6th sense can save you, man. Only your 6th sense can save you. And when you're not tapped in with 27 fields, that's the divine power to command nature. That's your biology, your 27 biofields. You have 32 senses. 27 is the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, as Winov says in Oxford University, all the way through to 32. And when you're not in the codependent, in tune to the power, which means relationship, you're into yourself too much. And you don't have the relationship. You have to be innocent like a child and revise your perception and be completely selflessness and get right out of your personality and right out of your mentality, because your mind is your worst enemy and plays tricks and games in you, and you become your own prison, your own warden with a voice of mind that controls you, ultimately designed for extinction. They're just personalities. And you believe in that more than anything. Think outside the mind, you can do what I can and more. That's what Christ said. Cross over. And you go through a natural process with genetic memory, right, with ancestral genetic tools that I went through for 3.5 years. And then it becomes the beginning of the most spectacular time to be alive. But guess what? It's scary. It's terrifying. It's not what you think. It's the saddest moment to be alive at the same time, when you know. When you see the future in Deja-vu right in front of your face, and you get a confirmation, and you see it yourself, you don't know how to deal with it. Your mind and your human experience doesn't know how to deal with these things at all. That's why even the elect is having a very difficult time facing all the truth and not just living a narrative. Dr. Bryan Ardis is the greatest doctor in the world, putting everything together with all the documents worldwide that the government's actually telling you right in front of your face, and there's no secrets anymore. But while everyone's living on hope with a cure for these things, I promise you, there's one thing everyone's missing out on the most. You know, there are world leaders right now talking about consciousness, conscious singularity, right? With medals all over the ESP promoting and all these abilities. They're trying to put all that together worldwide, right? But this is where people are wrong. You have to be a mastermind to know what the right grammar is and what the right tools are. And they're not. These people that are trying to put them in together worldwide into that singularity, right? You see, they're not talking about soul and divine power to command nature, right? They're not talking about righteousness and the EMP pulse that's coded in your codependent power into your intuition, which is loyalty, honor, respect, morals, inspiration, and encouragement. The 8 tools of righteousness is the quantum mechanic of a relationship with the codependent in tune to the power. Divine power to command nature is the mother and the father. It will start with a man and woman and finish man and woman. The 2 candlesticks, the 2 olive trees, the 2 witnesses, it's a principality in the power in the air, man. The principality in the power in the air that gives you the divine power to command nature in such a way you have a shining armor. You have a shining armor so that no weapon from against you can prosper. Without that shining armor restored, in your 6th sense, your aura in your body cells clockwise, your aura on the outside becomes the divine power to get through this into a new timeline with 7-fold wisdom and replenish nature so it becomes 10 times more fruitful. Because you're 10 times more fruitful, you carry 10 times more power. The God-given power. And people don't understand it. Well, I can tell you now, my DNA and the biggest research ever done with Jeremy Givers, he tells you this. The number 1 biologist in the whole world today, the number 1 prophet for resurrection is Jeremy Givers' DNA, the Book of Life, the book Freedom by Jeremy Givers. That's the book warned about the Bible, the Book of Life. DNA, it's a genetic memory and how to use it, your biological system. The God-given gift that God gave you is what you learn to live. You got to learn how to use. The mind doesn't know. The mind is the oppressor. It limits you so much. You got to get out of your mind because it's a complicated problem. You become your own prison, your own warden. You got to realize that. You got to get out of your vessel. You got to cross over through the rebirth. The great resurrection is crossing over. So you harness the power so that no weapon against you prosper. Mastermind Xing shows you how to master this power. He's worldwide now, going worldwide on new documentaries on how to harness the power and how to beat death through fight-flight mode and make it your best friend. That's right, you make pain your best friend and learn how to do it. That's what Winop does with ice-cold showers. Make pain your best friend. Ice-cold showers has massive benefits in the fight-flight mode, and we're not breathing the sacred secretion, the holy breath of life, to recreate the sacred secretion, the oxidized blood, with the holy breath of life. Fight-flight mode. Once you get used to it, you have the METH effect with the DMT effect and MDMA effect. Full on, high as a kite, most high. Right, most high. Highest feelings you'll ever have is coded in your own DNA with genetic memory, right, with the ancestors tools, with Jacob's ladder, the tree of life, and your sacred secretion with third eye, in the 6th sense, the picture of the towers of the animals going to lie to you. With all your natural abilities, the God-given gift that God gave you, right, divine power to command nature, with genetic memory and a genetic ancestor tools coded in your own DNA. So it's in your DNA, and your mind doesn't know. You have amnesia. That's okay. We bring you cross you over. But you have until the 27th September 2027. Kim Clement saw that vision after. And it's the hardest thing in the world to deal with. But if you don't cross over, go through the rebirth, and you don't get in your 6th sense, in your spirituality, and get out of your mentality, you're screwed. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what you believe in. This is not about religious, political cults, or New Age cults, because they're all wrong, especially every human being on a screen in a 5-sense world. Your 24th chromosome went in dormancy in 1920, trapped inside your body so as you can see it. You're the 23rd. Your 24th chromosome is in dormancy. 85% of your brain is in dormancy. 27 biofields are in dormancy. People are losing taste and smell as well, as Dr. Bryan says. That's your 5 senses. Look at Divine syndromes worldwide and peer reports. They're losing the magnetic pulse worldwide. Dizzy spells, insomnia, fatigue, pins and needles, concussion, and peer reports worldwide, mental disorders and defects going through the roof, in turbocharged state with cancer. And listen to what they're saying now in worldwide warnings coming through worldwide with government documents. Australia exposed this in a magazine with the Australian newspaper over 18 months ago. You read that fucking pamphlet, it told you all this. They already knew that back then. The depopulation plan is right in front of your face, and it's about to accelerate 7 times faster. On the 27th September 2027 is the deadline. If you don't cross over by then, back in your primal state, you'll go with the human extinction. You're in post-human stage since 1960, into a transhuman stage, into a zombie apocalypse, into a body-snatching virus declared worldwide on every document. With a hostile entity in your mind, with voice in the mind will tell you whatever you want to believe in a comfort zone. Christ consciousness that sound heavenly doesn't exist. It's only personalities. And I'll tell you whatever you believe in and whatever you want to believe in a comfort zone. But it's not going to help you. It'll take you in the abyss no matter what you think. The return of the gods are the voices in people's minds with UAPs, and UAP disclosure last year said we have an outside influence that controls their reality. We know that with the CERN machine we'll open the portal to a personality. And everyone's trapped in a personality with personalities in their mind. The personality they expose worldwide. We told you in 1997, we told you in 1999, the world is crazy, your parents are crazy. And everyone that speaks in the island went bang into screens, and 9/11 got people trapped worldwide. 9/11 got people trapped worldwide in screens. That's why they declared speech in 2003. Total denial. I'm telling you guys, no one can deal with the truth. Okay, when I came here with the most powerful confirmation on earth and the most powerful book on earth that I predict the future, no one can lie about me, and I can't lie. When I went to pastor and preaching Christians all over the world, they threw stones at me straight away. I can't talk to anybody. No one believes in me. Yet I'm the one that's been right my whole life, according to the biggest think tank in the world on DNA studies done. I'm the most righteous human being on earth and the most authentic human being on earth that's correct about everything. And everybody else is wrong, and I know that with my own family and friends. I know that with everybody I know. Nobody believes in me. Yet I'm the only one that's right about everything. And when I sit down and talk to people in any situation, Marion will tell you, I take control of that meeting. I take control of every word being said, and they go into denial and don't know how to deal with things. And it doesn't matter where I go and who I talk to. But you know what? Marion is the only human being on earth that knows every single thing about me is true and not afraid of the truth. Every person that comes here on my platform all run away. They can only take so much, and they all run away, man. 24 million followers 5 years ago, and I'm telling you, we've lost more than 50% of our followers just in the last month alone. We're going downhill because everybody runs away and only believes the voice of mine that sign tracks them. Yet I'm the only one that was sent here to save humanity with the great resurrection and protect the elect, and it's not a joke. I am the only one of a kind. And the Bible tells you I will be the only one, right? Me and my wife will be the 2 pillars of salt. Lilu, the 5th element, 84. Okay, the mother and the father, 27. Right? The 2 elements, the 2 pillars of salt, the 2 metal rats, 2 metal conductors. Christ and Mary were metal rats of the conductors. They were the pillars of salt. She ascended with Christ, body and soul. She ascended. And it's about Lilu and Matrix documentary, Keanu Reeves, right? The 2 pillars of salt with propaganda. They know. A lot of movies have been made by NASA, and they're telling you right in front of your face, and they know. They know. George Clooney, those thing of goats, Matrix documentary, Limitless, Madame Web. They know. When you consider Keanu Reeves 27, resurrection, Christ, and you see Lilu, the 5th element, the perfect element, divine power to command nature, the mother and the father. You start with a man-woman and it finishes man-woman, and you do not know who we are. Marrying my wife, the wedding, the bride, was 2022, 27 July. The most powerful confirmation on earth worldwide on 7,000 cameras worldwide. Let me tell you something. Marion came from heaven to earth. Her mum was abducted by a UFO, has amnesia, And Marin came from heaven's earth. Marin's got the same vision from when she's young. She saw the future, the same deja vu. She knows. From one little couple of 2 signs, she knows who I am, she knows why I'm here, and she sits here with me 24 hours a day and never moves a muscle. Yes. The most dedicated soulmate you've ever seen in your mystery, and nothing in the world prepared me for that. But if it wasn't for Marin, I wouldn't be able to cope. There's no way in the world I'd be here coping without Marin. Marin's my pillar of salt. Without her, I'd be fucked. And God made it that way because he knew I wouldn't cope. He told me he would love me through Marin. And Marin will save me because even I need to be saved. And I'm Marin's saviour. We save each other. And we never dreamt about that in a million years, I can tell you that. Nothing in this world prepared us for what we're going through now. And believe me, it's shocking. It's terrifying. When you know the truth and you have every vision and you know you're the only one of a kind that God developed like this. No one believes in me. I'm the son of Christ, son of David, son of Abraham, and it's not a joke. I came with the resurrection. You warned about me and you won't know who I am. No one cares about me. Again, no one cares. No one has any faith. And that's what I watched my life. I watched no one had trust or faith, right? When I was in the underground world, number 1, I took down the highest of America again in violence because people had more faith in me than anyone else in the whole world. I changed the atmosphere in a whole nation. And when I got out of jail in 2010, there was no aura in anybody. The atmosphere was collapsed. No faith and trust amongst anyone. And it scared me. That was 2010. It scared me when I realised there was no faith or trust in anyone. Just argue, debate and divide. That's all they could do. And be self-centered on a screen all day to make a name for themselves. But they couldn't keep their relations together. And that scared me in 2010 when I saw that. How dysfunctional and how polarised the whole Western world is. Everybody on the screen so polarised into themselves and actors all over the world and have no idea what's going on with amnesia. Trapped inside their mind, no aura, atmosphere collapsing worldwide, and so into themselves and just want to argue, debate and divide, but no relationships. No codependent relationship, gone. And man, that scared me. Then I died in 2012 because I was being pawned into the same shit. And I knew I was right. And when I died and went for a transformation for 3.5 years, God said, revise your perception, son. When you came out of jail, son, you thought you were crazy when you come out of jail because you were in a time where time said till the preserves came. But your DNA preserves in jail in 2008. Remember, in the 8th year, it was proven that your DNA preserves in jail. So you were living in a time where time stands still and preserves in your DNA. There's the evidence, son. When you came out of jail, you were in a time where time stands still and life preserves in your DNA. So you were living in a time where time still stands still and life preserves. Then you came out of jail after you discovered the truth. After living in the truth, in a concrete jungle where everyone lives equally and learns how to love one another and care about one another in flesh. They live by the one year weekly, son. More than anywhere in the world, in a family environment where the elderly take everyone under their wing and show them the right ropes in a family environment. Right? No systems in jail, in the concrete jungle. And that's where you found the natural preservation mode for life, Kim. So when you came out of jail, you went back in the prison system because you became mentally sensitized in school with artificial intelligence, and then you suffered the human condition of your life. Then you went to jail for 7 years and went back in your natural environment the same as 0 to 7. And then you found freedom in prison you could not find outside, and that's where they found freedom in the biggest study done. In prison systems, in your DNA, Kim. So we know you find freedom in prison you cannot find outside because you're mentally institutionalized into prison inside the mind. So when you came out of prison, you felt that, Kim, you felt that everyone's trapped in the mind, in the cave, and all their auras collapsed worldwide. And all they want to do is defend themselves, argue about things, say about what they believe in and all their mental mind and all their religious, political cults and New Age cults. But there's no relationships, there's no independent, in tune to the codependent power. No relationships at all. Just argue, debate and divide. And Kim, you felt the atmosphere collapsing. And then you got mentally institutionalized yourself when you're back into it. So when you died in 2012, I put you through that and took you right out of your vessel to show you things. So you went for a transformation and Kim died for good because you got a confirmation. You were right when you came out of jail. The atmosphere's collapsed and people are not normal. And that was 2010, Kim. But you knew, Kim, from Yan's accident from 1990, that 95% of people lost then. Now, son, it's 99%, over 99% are lost in their mind. And you know you're right, Kim. And the whole world's wrong. They're not spirituality, they're mentality trapped in a personality, trapped in their mind with amnesia, in a reincarnation trap. And son, remember what I created with Yan in 1990 and why I sent him back from heaven, why I sent Yan back from heaven to earth? Because of you, Kim, so that you would know. So you would know the truth. So I'm sent back to my mum and my brother in 2017 with a confirmation. I was chosen from the day I was born, and my visions and revised my perception about everything. Everything I know is the truth. Every vision I have is real. And that's why they stopped my book in 2004, because they knew in the looking glass. And I knew what they were doing, setting up the depopulation plan throughout my life, ever since I was a child. The Fitzgerald inquiry, the Trident inquiry, the Lightning Rich inquiry, the wolves with the drugs, right? Disarm Australia with the Martin Biopic plan, and we have the gardens 5 years later in the front page paper, and the two top sons from NASA with Hitler's plan. And we stopped Hitler's plan that Harari tells you right now they're doing with vaccinations. And it goes back with the secret covenant that we exposed in 1997 with a mind control for 100 years on reverse psychology engineering. Everybody's under mind control with the voice of the mind, and they don't believe in it. They're a species in denial. Revelation warned about this. Everybody will be in a delusional state and live in their own comfort zone and live in what they want to believe in their mind. And only the elect will not be deceived, but they'll have a real hard time. And boy, you couldn't have a more harder time being me. When you know that 99% of people don't listen to a word you say and come to their own conclusion with the voice of mind that tells them to do that and walk away, they have no feelings, they have no faith, they have no trust at all. So when God developed me like this, do you think anyone believes in me? No, they don't. That's the scariest part. Because there's nobody else on earth like me. There is no one else. I am the only one. And I know the truth that they can't deal with. I know every single thing, and I'm not 100% correct. Not only by every document, but God told me He developed me that way with the most powerful confirmation. And God damn it, it's the truth. And nobody's living in it. Nobody believes in me. Only Maren. One person only will go that deep. The rest won't. They cannot deal with it. She's the only one. And a handful of people that knows me. A tiny handful of people. And it's so small, you have no idea. Everybody keeps thinking mentally and thinking about me as a human vessel and calls me Kim. Do not understand. When the Bible says you will not know Him, it's a primordial being here. It's a celestial primordial being that's in charge of my vessel. And you're not getting that. I am not in control or charge. I'm just a human experience and a human personality, and I'm damaged goods. And I've been put through fucking hell. And I go through hell, man. And you don't even know. Because you have no comprehension understanding, but I'm not in control. That's why I didn't want to come back when I was a child. I remember 2 years old, I didn't want to come back. Because I knew I had to face, I knew all the truth way back then, and now it's unfolding right in front of my face, and my book's become the most powerful confirmation on earth, and you know what? It's not easy. I'm in the worst shoes in the world because everybody in the world throws stones at me. No one believes in me, man. And I'm the only truth here. I'm the only one that can save humanity.